everyone, welcome. My name is Pat Cupo. I'm a Bitwig certified trainer in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to my little home studio. In this lesson, we're continuing from the last lesson. There, I built an instrument from scratch using nothing but the grid in Bitwig Studio. Since doing that video, I've recorded some samples using that instrument, and I'm going to use them to build more instruments in this one. So my weapon of choice is Sampler in Bitwig Studio, and it's really powerful. I use it all the time. Actually, pretty much all of my instruments are sample-based using Sampler, so without further ado, let's go. Now, before I start, I just want to say that this project will be available for download so you can follow along, and please do so because it contains everything from the first lesson and this lesson. So let's find Sampler. Where is it, first of all? We're on this track, an instrument track. I can go down here to this plus button, and up pops a browser. And I'm going to filter by Bitwig, and I'm just going to type in Sampler, and there it is. Okay, so this is Sampler. This is what it looks like. So first thing we do is we need a sample to put in Sampler. So I'm going to press Browse Samples, and I know that I want some kind of vocal. So I'm going to type in Vox, V-O-X. Let me scroll down. I've tried this one, voxu.wave. I'm going to double click. And now it's inside of Sampler. It's loaded into it. And I'm going to press this button to get an expanded view so we can see the entire sample there. Now let's play some keys. I have a 25 key MIDI controller in front of me. It sounds like this. Okay, so check this out. If I go up a couple octaves on my keyboard, notice how fast the sample goes by? All right, if I go down some octaves, the sample goes by slower, okay? That's normal sampler behavior. That's standard, that's traditional. So what I would like to do is press a key on the keyboard and have that sample just playing over and over and over, and that's where looping comes in. So if we look here, we see loop, and right now it's just straightforward, no looping, all right? But if we press this, everything turns green. Green is for looping in this case, or teal maybe, and everything inside of there is going to get looped over and over. So if I bring this here, it's going to start wherever this yellow start marker is, but let's play a note. Okay, so a couple things. Now it's playing over and over. If I go up a couple octaves, it'll still go through faster, but it'll still loop. Now every time it loops, do you hear that little pop? I want to get rid of that pop, and to do so, I need a fade. Now on the right-hand side, we can bring this over to the left. See the graphic display where we have a little fade of the color there? Now let's play. Let's see if we can still hear that pop. Pop's gone, but we still hear the loop, and I'm actually okay with that. Let's try this other mode where it loops backwards and forwards called ping pong. Nice, and this is polyphonic. If we look over in the inspector on the left, we see voices is 24. Great. And that kind of smooth things out because different notes, different pitches are looping back and forth at different speeds. Cool. So that's how you get a sampler in there, or a sample into Sampler, loop it and fade it so we get rid of those pops, and then you can play multiple notes if it's polyphonic. So what else can we do with Sampler? Well, if we look down here, we see the letters A, H, D, S, R, which stands for attack, hold, decay, sustain, release. This is our amp envelope, right? This is controlling volume over time. Personally, I like a nice long attack and a nice long release. Let's see what that sounds like. Doing that so you can see. Nice. Okay, so we can control volume over time. What else do we have? We have a filter next to that. Now it is grayed out. It is off. That's what this dash means. This is a multi-mode filter. Excuse me. We can select the low pass filter here. Very cool. How about a little pitch modulation? Let's go right here. This is a modulator. All right, this is your introduction to the modulators in Bitwig. They're super powerful. This one is set up to be used by the mod wheel, but I have something special for the mod wheel later on. So I'm going to change this to manual. And if I play a note and bring up the filter, this is mapped to this pitch right here. So this is wobbling really quickly backwards and forwards. I don't need as much of that, so I'll turn it down. I can have this set to poly, so each one of them is vibrating a little differently. Very cool. Next, I want to show you the different modes of sampler. Let's close this up. And right here we see repitch. Click on that. Then we see cycles and textures. Repitch is what we've been hearing this whole time. Traditional sampler playback with speed control. Let's try cycles, which uses cycles of the source or the sample that's in there as a wavetable. So let's click on that and then press some keys. Nice, different sound. It's got a formula control. Okay, and you know what? Let me go back to repitch real quick. You can change the speed of this, which does the same thing as playing notes higher or lower. I'm just going to play one note and change speed. It's just fun, right? Let's bring it down, actually. That's probably where I'm going to live for the rest of this video. Okay, so let's go down to textures. This is, as it says, granular playback, preserving sample pitch. So this is your granular engine here. But there is a granular actual oscillator in the grid. Check that out. And in Polymer. All right, so let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, interesting. So this gets pretty experimental. Let's turn up the grains a bit. Nice, so definitely something to play with. Next, let's move on to the right-hand side. We have our volume and pan control over here, but also there are places for effects, so you can have effects loaded in here. I'm just going to add maybe a quick chorus. Let's type in chorus, so go for chorus plus. Introduced in version 4.2, I believe. Let's just change the parameters a tiny bit. Cool. And how about some reverb? Gotta have reverb on something like this. There's a new one called convolution, a convolution reverb where you can select different IRs or impulse responses. Let's go for maybe studio hall. I like this church one here. And let's go back to just plain old repitch, which is still lovely. Let's play just like an A minor chord. So now you have an introduction to sampler. Let's go build some instruments using the samples I made from the previous video. All right, so let's start building this first instrument. We're going to go to this from scratch track, and we're going to pick up the sample, the clip that it's in. Go to the from scratch track and drop it into sampler there. It's going to load. There it is, beautiful. And we're going to expand this so we can see the whole sample. Now, if you look closely up front, there is some silence. So I pressed record and then didn't start playing right away. I'm just going to bring this sample start elsewhere. Let's play a note. Oh, looks like we have the filter on already. Let me turn it off. Okay, so well, let's actually just go ahead and put that the filter in. All right, and I said I had something special planned for the mod wheel. This is it. I wanted to control the filter. So to do that, what I'm going to do is go to the mapping browser panel. It's a mouthful. Mappings browser panel. And this is where you can say, okay, I want to control this parameter with some physical device, some knob, slider, whatever, fader. And here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to click on the filter cutoff, And then I'm going to move my finger on the mod wheel. Maybe you can guess what kind of controller I have. All right, perfect. Okay, so it just showed up there, and I'm going to, okay, so it's set at, well, the range of this is to go from 20 hertz up to 30,000 hertz, okay, or 30 kilohertz. I'm going to change this. I'm just going to copy what I have down here. I don't want to go that full range. So I'm going to go like 120, somewhere around there, somewhere around 7K. Doesn't have to be perfect, okay? All right, so let's double check that this works. Let's go down an octave. All right, it's working. So I can exit this. Now we have our filters set up. And then it's just more expressive. So I can hear the next thing I need to do is play around with the amp envelope. And like I said, I like a longer attack and a longer release. Let's just go somewhere around there. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's go down an octave. Play a couple notes. Nice. Just for fun, I want to hear what this sounds like with the different modes. Let's try cycles. Let's go up, up a couple octaves. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, what about textures? All right, so it's not handling the multiple notes that I played originally that well. So I am going to just go back to straight up repitch. All right, and let's turn it down like I had before. I don't know what note that is. I would have to tune it if I was actually going to use this for a track, but I don't care about it right now. So I'm not going to tune it, but you should tune the sample. Even though it says the root note is C3, that doesn't mean when you play C3, it's going to be a C3 when you hear it. Okay, so moving on, let's add some effects, okay? Or let's add a little bit of mod wheel, just for fun. I'm going to set this to manual. Turn it down. I don't need so much. Maybe more of a triangle. Let's make it poly. Way too much. Let's just go down. And again, bring in some of that filter. Okay. How about some effects? Effects are always nice on these types of instruments, so I already have them loaded. I'm going to start with the reverb. Okay. I'm just going to turn it on. I probably won't do much of this. Maybe just brighten it up a little bit. Let's just try this. Oh, weird chord. All right. Let's try our church. Let's go to church. There we go. Let's see what that sounds like. It's my favorite one right now, but probably don't need as much. Okay, good. Now, it is rhythmic because of what I did with the instrument that I built. But sometimes, like if I try to play this with a track, it's not gonna lock up rhythmically. It's not going to be at the same tempo, though I am at the same tempo as the previous video. I like to use something called the Tremolo. Everyone kind of sleeps on the Tremolo. It's one of my favorites. I'm a guitar player. Like my favorite amplifiers had reverb and tremolo in them, so I've been using these for 25 years, maybe. So what I'm going to do, let's just hear it, what it sounds like. It's just bringing the volume up and down at a set rate. All right, we can change the depth of that, but I won't because I like it where it is. I'm actually going to bump up the rate and make it a little faster. Okay, now check this out. I'm going to add a modulator to this, and it's just an LFO. All right, let's slow down the LFO a lot, maybe around there. And we're going to use this LFO to control the rate of the tremolo. All right, so do I want this to be bipolar? No, I just want it to be one polar, unipolar. Okay, so probably I don't need the depth all the way up. And I need to be careful of how many notes that I play. Let's bring it up and let's change the filter a little bit. Yeah. I can probably go down on the depth of the LFO. I don't need it to be as intense. Okay, that's where the magic is right there. So I'm going to close that up. Don't need the modulator right now. And let's add a little dirt. Even though it was intense before, it's just the sample itself, I filtered a lot of that high frequency out. Let's add a little bit more back in. And I'm going to use bit 8 for that. Has a little bit of bit crushing and sample reduction. All of this in yellow on the left, I usually get rid of that unless I really want it. But I'm going to add a little soft clipping. All right, maybe just that much. Let's hear what that sounds like. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to, we're going to quantize these a bit. Let's bring it down, a lot down. How about all the way down? Okay. How about there? All right, and the mix is all the way up on this. I can bring this down. Let's try a little less than halfway. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm not great at the keyboard. Like I don't have any control over my volume. So I like to add something called a velocity curve. And it is a note effect. If you ever want to add one of these, you can go into note here or before an instrument. You'll get the same list. I'm going to add it over here. And let's turn this on. Basically, what I want is for every note that I play to be the same velocity. So I'm just going to turn all of these up. Just going to drag all of this up. I don't care what these two do. I just want every note that I play to be the same velocity. So now it just got a little hotter. So I'm going to bring down this gain a bit. I love chordal planning. Okay, so that is the first instrument that I want to show you using a sample that I got, which already had some rhythm in it. And we added a bunch of filtering with the mod wheel, changed the attack and release of the amp envelope, add a little bit of pitch vibrato, then added a bunch of effects over here. Bit 8, convolution reverb, and tremolo for some even more movement. And that movement is kind of reining in the movement that was baked into the sample. And then velocity curve. All right, you'll probably add the velocity curve at the beginning if I did this again. Nice, let's move on to the next instrument. Okay, so let's go into the second example now. And here is the sample that I recorded. This time it's just one note, and it's yeah, single notes, but it has a lot more frequency content to it. Here's what it sounds like. So a lot of high frequency in there, and might be able to use that to our advantage. And let's see what we could do. So here's the example that I've created. This is play. I know this time I've set up something where I only need one note, so I'm just going to have one finger down, but I still have the mod wheel set up. Okay. Nice. Okay. So don't look at that too much. We're going to set it up from scratch over here. So let's drag in the sample as we did last time. Make sure we hover over the title. Now the sample is in there, and this time we need to move the sample start right up against the beginning here. Doesn't need to be right on. It looks like it's right on right there. So we'll leave it there, see what it sounds like. Doesn't sound amazing yet. Sounds like an oddly distorted guitar. Cycle, let's see what cycle sounds like. Okay, let's turn down the speed. Let's go way down, maybe like 13%. Remember in the last part of this, the first example I did, I needed to set up the velocity. I'm going to go ahead and do that right away. All right, and let's go ahead and set up the amp envelope as well. Let's maybe not have sustain all the time, because I am going to use an arpeggiator, so I don't need it sustaining the whole time. Maybe something like this. Okay, let's try textures mode. I think I can get it to work. Let's bump up the grain size. Yeah, okay. I think that will work. I know it worked because it was in the last, or was in my example track over here. Let's do the same thing with the filter and the mod wheel. So I'm going to turn on the filter here. Let's go to the mappings browser panel. Then I'll select what I want to map. That is the filter cutoff. And I'm going to move the slider on my mod wheel. Okay. And we can exit this. And let's see if that worked. It's a little soft. I'm going to bump up the gain. I don't need so much sustain on this. Actually, just turn it all the way down. Okay. Probably sounds a bit odd right now, but I'm going to do some things to make it work using note effects. So let's go to multi-notes. What multi-note does is plays with incoming notes and multiplies them, kind of. So I'm going to have 4 of them. So I want 4 notes happening at once, just like playing a chord. And for this one, I want, let's see, 7 semitones up. So that's a perfect fifth. Then I'm going to put it at 11, which would be a major 7th. But that's not what I want the whole time. You'll see what I'll do next. Next I want, let's see, a 3rd. Okay, not the coolest chord. Let's go into the key filter. And I'm just going to keep it in C major, and that's going to make sure everything I play is now in C major, all the white keys on the keyboard. Interesting, but we need to play with the grains a bit more. Okay, I won't worry about that too much because it's the arpeggiator that's going to do some work. So let's turn this on. And maybe I want like 3 octaves. Let's see what that sounds like right now. I think the sustain is probably, or the release is probably too high. Oh, I think it's too fast. Let's slow this down. And let's play with that filter a bit. Let's go down an octave. Let's play a little more with the grain and motion. Nice. Okay, it's like a delay built into it without actually using a delay yet. All right, so that's the arpeggiator. We can close the note effects. Let's go add some reverb. Definitely need some reverb for this. Let's see. Probably want to brighten this up a little bit. Let's try. Let's go for a different impulse response, a different IR. Maybe something like a room. How about this this deep stone? That's nice. Okay. Or studio far. I like deep stone better. When you use convolution reverb to save some CPU, you might want to click over on the reduced stereo button. Because it is 4 channels, this impulse response, as you can see right here. This is summing it down to 2 channels. Okay. And let's bring up the mix a little bit more. Let's brighten it up. Let's just tune it all the way high. All right, I don't love this as much as my, my example, so I'm going to go back. Let's just listen to what it sounds like. It's the exact same effects. All right, I actually stuck with the default reverb here. I just dialed it in a little better. That's nice. So again, you can download this project and that'll be there for you to analyze. Quick bonus for you, just built this quickly. Here's the thing, I noticed that I didn't use the looping feature in the sampler at all. And also the sample that I used for the last example, this one here, had a lot of reverb in it and I didn't really utilize that. So I wanted to do both those things, looping and that reverb. So here's what I made quickly. I'll explain it afterwards. It's already kind of dark, but look, no filtering on it. Actually, I could just turn that off. But I did set up the mod wheel and everything, but I don't really need it. And I've added some extra delay and reverb just to have it. Love the new delay plus in Bitwig. Cool. So this sample here is made out of reverb. It's 100% reverb at that point. Something to try out when you're sampling. There you go, everybody. That's how I like to build sample-based instruments out of recordings of other instruments. Again, my name is Pat Cupo. I'm a Bitwig certified trainer in Brooklyn, New York. You can learn more about me on bitwig.com. And remember, this project is available for download. Please do. You'll learn a lot from it. And thanks for watching. Hope you got a lot out of this. I'll see you next time.